What should you do when your piece is getting taken no matter what? Today, I've got 6 positions where a doomed piece strikes back one last time. In position 1, we have Perlis against Savielly Tartakower from Vienna 1907. Perlis won Vienna 1903, one of the biggest results of his career. Tartakower later became one of the most influential hypermodern players, and several openings still carry his name. This position shows the core Desperado idea very clearly. Piece is going down anyway, so the only question is, can it do damage before it disappears? Pause your video here. It's black to play. Find the Desperado move. In this position, Tartakower played queen takes c3, simply capturing the knight with a queen. And the whole point is, if white tries to capture this queen back with b takes c3, he can simply capture his queen with his bishop, and now white's knight is still hanging, and black simply got an extra piece, which is completely winning for black. And here, if white decided to take the bishop with the queen, then black can also take the knight with the queen, and black is completely fine and he's winning in this position. That is why after queen takes c3, white simply resigned the game. Now let's go to the next one. Hello everyone, I'm Aniket, an Arena International Master, and this is Chess Tactics episode 14. Today's pattern is Desperado. A Desperado is a piece that cannot be saved. So instead of giving it away quietly, you use it to create the biggest threat, win material, or force something useful before it gets taken. Let's understand it with a simple example. So here we got this position where white is completely winning because he has won the rook. And now black played bishop b7. And here there is no way to defend the knight. White is going to lose the knight no matter whatever he does. So here white decided to capture on b6 because he knows he can't defend the knight. So why not let's grab a pawn before coming out. So he captured the pawn here, and after a takes b6, he simply castles, and eventually white simply won the game. If you enjoy practical ideas like this, subscribe to the channel. Now, let's move to position 2. In position 2, we have Magnus Carlsen against Levon Aronian in the Grand Slam final in 2008. Magnus later became the 16th World Chess Champion, and Aronian won the FIDE World Cup twice and was a World Plates champion. This is a top level example of the same idea. Even the very best players look for one last final active move when the piece cannot be saved. So in this position, Magnus has pinned Aronian's knight, and this knight is attacked twice. And there is no good way to defend the knight. You might be thinking, what's the problem with rook g6? The problem with rook g6 is white can simply take on b6, and after c takes b6, he can win the knight on d4. That was the whole point. So that is why Aronian tried one last trick and he played knight g4. He said, if you want to take my queen, be my guest. And Magnus cannot take the queen. The reason, if Magnus decided to capture the queen and play bishop takes d8, that is actually a blunder because now black can play knight h2, and that is checkmate. This knight is making sure the king cannot go to e2, and the rook is making sure that king cannot escape. It's a simple checkmate. So, after knight g4, Magnus has to play very careful. If you're thinking, let's grab the knight and play f takes g4, that is also not great because you lost a bishop. And now black is the one who is winning because white king is not safe and he will eventually win the game. So that is why that's also not gonna work. So after knight g4, Magnus saw something and he played queen to d4. He simply sacrificed his queen, take the knight with check. That is the whole point. And now when Levon captured this queen back with the bishop, then he captured on d8. And obviously this bishop cannot be captured because Magnus will capture the knight. So Levon played knight h2, and at this time, that will not lead to checkmate because there is no knight who was protecting on e2. So Magnus simply moved the king on e2 and then Levon take on d8. And it looks like Levon is the one who is winning because he got one extra pawn. How is Magnus winning? The point is, Magnus has forced Levon to put a knight on h2 and there is no way to defend the knight. The knight is trapped. Knight cannot go back and soon Magnus is gonna come for it. So game continues with rook a1 attacking the bishop. Levon capture another pawn on b2 and then Magnus go on h1. Levon tried c6 attacking the knight. He moved the knight on f4 and after bishop e5 he played knight d3. And that's it. And here if Levon played a normal move like a5, white can simply play f4, just disconnect the bishop protecting the knight, and whenever the bishop moves, we can capture the knight. So that is why after knight d3, he simply captured on f3 and Magnus enjoy this knight. Yes, for the material perspective, it looks like equal material, but eventually Magnus won the game. Now, let's go to the next one. In position 3, we have Shakhriyar Mamedyarov against Igor in Moscow 2009. Mamedyarov is the only player to win the World Junior Championship twice. Igor won strong events like Hastings 2008 and the Abu Dhabi Masters. Here, Desperado is not just grabbing material, it's about creating maximum chaos before the piece comes off. So pause the video here, it's black to play, find the Desperado move. And here, in this position, both queens are in danger. Black is attacking the queen here with a bishop, and white is attacking the queen with a knight. And it's black to play. And here, black played queen to d2. He simply moved his queen, and white's queen is still in danger, and black's queen cannot be accepted. It looks like, what is the problem? Just take the queen with a rook. The problem with this move is, there's a knight takes d2, it comes with a check, and after king c2, he can simply grab on h5. That was the whole point. And now, if rook takes on h5, then he can move the knight on f1. And here we got this position where black captures the rook and white only captures the bishop. So he got 2 extra points, and that is completely winning position for black now. So that is why queen d2 is very strong. And if you're thinking of queen e3, that also works. There's nothing wrong with it. So that is why after this move, Shakhriyar Mamedyarov resigned the game because there's nothing can be done. Because if you decided to take the bishop and play queen takes d4, the problem is there's a checkmate coming on b2. So the move is so forced that you can't even ignore it and you can't even accept it. And that is what Mamedyarov can clearly see that, and that is why after queen d2, he simply resigned the game. Now, let's go to the next one. In position 4, we have Peter Leko against Boris Gelfand in the fourth FIDE Grand Prix at Nalchik in 2009. Peter came within one game of becoming classical world champion, and Gelfand won the candidates tournament and later challenged for the world title. This one is very practical. Threatened piece still finds one last useful job before leaving the board. So here in this position, both queens are in danger again. Black's knight is attacking the queen and white's rook is attacking the queen. And queen is also protecting the rook. So if white decided to move the queen, it could be a problematic because white queen got no good square where he can move the queen and defend the rook at the same time. So it's very tricky for white to continue the game. And here, if you decide to trade the pieces, like rook takes f5. The problem with this move is there's a knight takes h6. The rook is attacked, so you have to move the rook. So let's go rook b5. And here, black is the one who got an extra pawn. The game is still draw, but now white is not winning anymore. So that is why white has to be very careful playing this game. And here, white find a great idea and he played queen g7 check. He knows he's gonna lose the queen anyways. So he decided to sacrifice the queen. It's a check, so rook has to take it. And after rook takes g7, there's a f takes g7 check. And after king takes g7, he played rook f5. And after g takes f5, and now he simply captured the rook on a8. The game is not over yet. Now, black played knight e3 check, coming with a fork. So king has to move. So king e2, knight takes d1, king takes d1. And here we got this position where white is the one who got an extra knight. Yes, black got 2 pawns for a knight, but there's no way for the black to push this game for a win. And he also got 2 double pawns, which is not great for black. And that is why they played few more moves, but eventually black simply resigned the game. Now, let's go to the next one. In position 5, we have Vitaly against Furman in Moscow 1955. Vitaly played in the 1955 USSR Championship, one of the strongest national events in chess. Furman is best known as one of Anatoly Karpov's key trainers. This is a nice classical example of Desperado. Piece that looks finished still has tactical value. So let's pause the video here. It's black to play, find the Desperado move. In this position, black played queen takes e4, simply sacrificing the queen. And now white has two different ways to capture this queen. If we decide and take the queen with a queen, problem with this move is knight takes e4. And after bishop takes g7, king takes g7, he can take on e4. Now it's completely winning for black because black is the one who got an extra rook. So that is why this queen cannot be captured with a queen. So the other option is he has to capture the queen with a bishop, which happened in the game. So white played bishop takes e4, and now that was the whole point. Here in this position, black played bishop e8, and here white's queen got trapped. There is no way out for the queen. This pawn is making sure g5 is not available, the bishop is making sure h5 is not available, and this pawn is making sure f5 is not available. And obviously, the knight is also making sure g4 is not available. And there's no way for white to save the queen. And yes, he can take the bishop, but it will lead to the same position what happened in the game. White continued the game with d takes e6. So black played, and obviously, now black has to capture the queen, otherwise this f5 square is available for the queen now. So black played bishop takes g6 from white, and now he simply played rook c8. In this position, white simply resigned the game because there's nothing can be done. Yeah, you can continue the game with e7. Yeah, you can continue the game with e7. The problem is knight e8. And now this pawn is never gonna make a queen, and we are simply trading more and more pieces. And black is the one who will be completely winning here. And if white will not trade the pieces and he will go back, then he will also lose a pawn. And now it's 2 versus 1, and he's also gonna make a passed pawn on the queen side, and which is completely winning. So this is what Vitali can clearly see, and that is why after rook c8, he simply resigned the game. Now, let's go to the next one. In position 6, we have Tigran Petrosian against Bobby Fischer at the Interzonal in 1958. Petrosian later became the 9th world chess champion, and Fischer later became the 11th world chess champion. This is a kind of position where one active move changes everything. This is why Desperado matters so much in real games. So let's see what happens here. Here, Tigran saw something that the knight is hanging on h5. So Tigran did a discover attack and played knight takes e5. And obviously, if Fischer capture this knight with the bishop or with the pawn, both moves are gonna cost him a game. So Fischer played a desperado. He knows he's gonna lose a knight, and he played knight takes g3. He said, I'm going to lose a knight anyways, so why not let's take a pawn, and he's the one who is also attacking the rook. So now white has to react to this move, and white played h takes g3, and then black played bishop takes e5, and here it's equal material, and eventually they played the whole game, and the game ended as a draw. And Fischer got saved by Desperado. So that's Desperado. Point is simple. If a piece is lost anyway, do not let it die for nothing. Make it create a threat, win material, or damage the opponent first. This is why this tactic is so practical. In real games, Desperado can turn a losing movement into a resource. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe for more practical tactics and comment which position was the hardest and tell me what move you found before I revealed it. I will see you in the next one.